Applicant possesses a higher academic level of education compared to the proposed study in the letter of acceptance. The intended program is a redundant course of action and does not appear to be a logical progression in their career path. I am not satisfied that this is a reasonable progression of studies. Application refused. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Celine Chibuzo, and on this channel, I break down all you need to know about studying, living, and thriving in Canada. I also like to share my knowledge and life experiences. If this sounds like something you like, why don't you go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I post more videos. And for my old subscribers, thank you guys so much for always being there. So guys, today's video is kind of a continuation of the previous one I made about reviewing the visa officer's notes. If you have not watched that video, I strongly recommend you watch it because it's going to give you like a better understanding of what I'm trying to talk about. But basically, these are real notes the visa officer documented while processing people's visas application, and these applications were refused. So I'm reviewing these notes with you guys so that you can learn from their mistakes to get a better output while you submit your own application. I'm not going to be wasting so much of your time today because I don't want this video to be overly long. So I'll just go straight up and read out the notes to you guys, and then we'll look at it together. And the very last scenario I'm going to be looking at is very, very important and very key. So I saved the best for the last. Make sure you stick around and watch till the end because that one can land a lot of people in trouble, and your whole dream of coming to Canada can just be a waste. So let's move on. So the first note says, I have considered the following factors in my decision. The bank statement provided by the applicant has large cash deposits. Applicant has not provided an employment letter or business docs to show source of large deposits in the bank statements. The client's ties to the country of residence appear weak. After reviewing client's letter of motivation and given the academic/professional history of applicants, the stated benefits of their intended studies do not seem to warrant the cost and difficulty of undertaking foreign education. Weighing the factors in this application, I am not satisfied that the applicant will depart Canada at the end of the period authorized for their stay. For the reasons above, I have refused this application. This is similar to what we've been talking about before. Two things went wrong here. This person had large cash deposits in their account. They did not provide any source of funds, not employment letter to say I'm employed and this is where this money is coming from, is my salary or something. Not I'm into business, these are my business documents, these are my business bank accounts to see how the money came in, right? The money just appeared there. And then the person failed to prove strong ties to home country. I made a video in my channel. I'm going to be dropping the link here or here, whichever. You can check it out. I explained how you can prove ties to your home country when you're applying for a visa to Canada or anywhere you're actually applying to. It's basically the same thing. And lastly, the visa officer is saying that after reviewing this person's letter of motivation, which some people call statement of purpose or whatever it is to you, this person have not proven that the course they are coming to undertake is going to be either a progression in their academic or profession. So the visa officer is saying it does not appear reasonable to me. This course you're coming to do, the expenses you're coming to make does not appear reasonable to me. So you should be able to prove to them that this course you're coming to take is relevant to whatever it is you're doing in your life right now. So that's this one. We'll be moving over to the next one. The second one says, application reviewed. Applicant is 43 years old, applying for a study permit to pursue health administration and leadership at a college. I'm not going to mention that. Tuition deposit noted, 8,500 CAD. Applicant obtained a bachelor in medicine and surgery in 2012 and has been employed as a doctor since 2019. Applicant possesses a higher academic level of education compared to the proposed study in the letter of acceptance. The intended program is a redundant course of action and does not appear to be a logical progression in their career path. I am not satisfied that this is a reasonable progression of studies. Application refused. So this is similar to the one I have done before. This person has failed to let the visa officer know why they're coming to do something that is way lesser than what they had before. You're a medical doctor and you're coming to do something that is lesser in a college. You're not doing like a master's program. You're not doing a university program that is going to be like a branch of medicine or something. You came for something way lower without explaining in details to the visa officer why you want to do that. So I think I'm going to make a video on that. If you guys want to see that, let me know in the comment section below. But basically, when you're coming to study in Canada, you should basically be for either your career progression or academic progression. And then if you want to change career in total, you should be able to let the visa officer know beyond all reasonable doubt why you want to change a career. So you have that in mind. Let's move on to the next one, guys. Estimated tuition for 1 year for this program is 18,290 Canadian dollars. Bank statements showed less than 6 months of transaction history to assess movement of funds. It is the responsibility of the applicant to provide proof of funds for the past 6 months as per the application document checklist. I have concerns the applicant does not have sufficient finances readily available to cover their tuition and living costs while studying in Canada. Taking the applicant's plan of studies into account, the documentation provided in support of the applicant's financial situation does not demonstrate that funds will be sufficient or available for the tuition, living expenses, and travel. Weighing the factors in this application, I am not satisfied that the applicant will depart Canada at the end of the period authorized for their stay. For the reasons above, I have refused this application. So this one is for some people that's likely like got money from somebody and you need like 4 month statement of account. You probably put it like a day before the 4 months so that they'll see that the beginning or the opening balance is this amount and the closing balance is this amount. These people know that a lot of things are going on, so they check it out. Okay, if you know that the 4 months you're going to be showing the visa officer will not bear any transaction history, you better backdate the statements, even if the website is saying 4 months or 5 months or 6 months. During my time, I just had to give them like a 1 year statement because I wanted them to see that this money had been there for the past 1 year. It's been there now and see how it's going. Okay. Because if you know that when you give them a 4 or 5 month statement, they're not going to see any transaction history. They'll just see opening balance 50,000 card, closing balance 50,000. It doesn't explain anything to them. The thing that will come to their mind might be like, oh, okay, this person borrowed this money 5 months ago because he knows he'll be printing 4 month statement and he doesn't want us to see the transaction history or how this monies came about. So please, if you're sending your statement, let them see the flow of transaction. They're very much interested in your source of funds. So you have to explain to them with supporting documentation. There's no shortcut about it. Okay, let's move on. The next one, I have reviewed the application. I have considered the following factors in my decision. The majority of funds to support applicants' purpose of travel comes from the personal bank account of the applicant with a valuable balance of approximately 29,100 Canadian dollars. I note the property rental receipt and transfers to applicant's account. However, there is no tenancy agreement on file. The funds are incommensurate with the declared income. Applicant's spouse pay slip is unreadable. The onus is on the applicant to provide a full, complete, and clear and decipherable application, including supporting documents for assessment. As a result, I am not satisfied the applicant has provided sufficient financial details. Therefore, I am not satisfied the applicant has provided sufficient financial details. In the absence of satisfactory documentation showing the source of those funds, I am not satisfied that the applicant has sufficient funds for the intended purpose. Weighing the factors on this application, I am not satisfied that the applicant will depart Canada at the end of the period authorized for their stay. For this reason above, I have refused the application. Same story. This person had some money in their personal bank account, which is fantastic. The person showed that they had a property and they put receipts and they showed transfers, probably where somebody rented the property and that's how the money came in. but they are not adding the tenancy agreement on file. So the tenancy agreement should state that you rented this property to this person on this day and that this is the amount the person is supposed to pay. Like, it should be clear to them. You don't just say, I own a property, you just show us transfer into your account and say somebody just made the transfer to you, you just put transfer receipt. Transfer receipt alone is not enough. They want to see your tenancy agreement. And then this person added their spouse's pay slip, which is very unreadable. Some people just put up their documents in a way that is not readable, is not eligible, is very small and stuff like that. And these people are saying it's your responsibility to make sure that whenever you're submitting your application, you give them something that is very clear for them to see. And so what they think is that this person does not have the required finances. I'll move on to the next one. I note that the applicant has indicated that they have received a student loan from Empower, a student financing organization. However, there is no evidence on file to demonstrate that the approved loan has been disbursed either to the applicant's account or the DLI's account. Moreover, Empower Financing only finances tuition portion of the studies and not living expenses. I am not satisfied that the applicant will have unhindered access to a stable source of funds. Taking the applicant's plan of studies into account, the documentation provided in support of the applicant's financial situation does not demonstrate that funds will be sufficient or available. I am not satisfied that applicant has sufficient and available financial resources to pay the tuition fees for the program of studies that they intend to pursue and to pay for living expenses while in Canada. Weighing the factors on this application, I am not satisfied that the applicant will depart Canada at the end of the period authorized for their stay. For the reasons above, I have refused this application. So this one is for those that got loan from Empower or wherever you get the loan from. There are some organizations that fund people to come and study abroad and you get loan from them. What they're saying is this person claimed to have a loan, but no evidence that this loan has been disbursed. If you applied for a loan, wait for your loan to be approved and disbursed. Approval and disbursing is not the same thing. Disbursing means that they've actually paid the fees. The money is in your account or it has been paid to the school. They said the money was not in this applicant's account, neither was it in the school's account. So there was no evidence of school fees payment. And please, when you get loan that is covering your tuition fee, it does not mean that you're no longer going to show your proof of funds. They still want to see that you have money for your living expenses. You're going to pay rent, you're going to feed, you're going to fly yourself to Canada. They want to see money for your travel and other itinerary. Okay, so getting a loan does not guarantee that you're exempted from proof of fund. That loan only covers your studies. Unfortunately for this person, the loan was not even disbursed as at the time of applying. Neither was this person able to provide documentation to show that in addition to the loan, they have money for their own living expenses. So for this reason, the visa officer have denied this application. Let's move on. This last one is for students who are already in Canada. You came to study in Canada. You have to listen very carefully so that you do not make mistake. Even if you're planning to come to Canada, you eventually graduate and need your post-graduation work permit. And it can be denied. It's not a given, it's not a guarantee. So let's listen very attentively. Applicant has applied for a postgraduate work permit. Applicant has done his studies in project management from, I'm not going to mention the name of the college, and eligible for 3 years PGWP. Applicant also has rights for full-time work while he was doing online studies. Applicant arrived in Canada in September of 2022 and was working in Uber, an independent work from January 2023. He was doing Uber more than 50 to 60 hours in a week. Further investigated, officer noted that applicant was doing Uber while his online classes were going on same time. Applicant was more interested to do work rather than studies. Hence, he has not met requirements for PGWP, which is post-graduation work permit. So PGWP refused. Please, we don't want to stress ourselves like this. Like, it's so crazy. You spend all that money and come in here. You even study for 2 years and you're denied PGWP, meaning you don't have a PR pathway because you don't have the required Canadian experience. It's even better that you were denied coming to study in the first place so that you re-strategize and reapply than coming into Canada and not living by the immigration rule. This person was working more than the required hours. There was a time that IRCC allowed students to work like more than the required time because they were experiencing shortage of labor. Fine, you could work up to 40 hours a week. Some people in this instance, this guy, for example, left his classes and was doing Uber. All those things can be tracked. They can get your log from Uber. It will show the time you gave ride to people. They can match it up with your class timetable. If he was doing this Uber, let's say from 10 p.m. till 6 a.m., if he wishes, maybe they won't have said anything, right? Because it wasn't during his classes. It was his choice to forfeit his sleep. But these things happened while classes were going on, meaning he actually came to Canada to work and not to study. And so his PGWP has been refused. So, guys, please, the reason why I share this notes with you guys is so that you don't make the same mistakes. If you have any question, as I always say, please drop it in the comment section below and I'll be more than happy to answer you to the best of my ability. Thank you so much and see you in my next video. Bye.